Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say.
Welcome back to the Say What podcast. I am your host, Shakima D. Ford. Every time I hear that song, I swear it just gives me chills. So shout out to Whitfield for just making it so fitting to my personality and so fitting for this podcast. I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Shout out to the branding company for just being the engine behind this whole project, because it has been in the works for almost, I know, a year. And my baby sister made it happen. So shout out to you again. Shout out to all of my chameleons. We made it to episode 2, right? And I am definitely enjoying the ride, and it was well worth the wait. We have a very, very special guest here with us today. My husband, Quincy Ford Sr., is going to be joining us because we are going to be talking about a very hot, trending topic: the word submission. Not only are we going to touch on submission, but we're also going to talk about support, right? Because that's very, very important, right? Especially in a marriage, right? And I just had some pet peeves that I just want to get out there. But I'm going to let him say a few words. The chameleons want to hear what you have to say. He did everything he could to avoid being on this podcast talking about this subject. But we are here to be real. We are here to be transparent. We are going to have adult conversations. We're not going to agree all the time, and that's fine. He has a voice. I have a voice. He has an opinion. I have an opinion, but at the end of the day, we can still shake hands, right? And continue to be married. So, do you want to say something?
Thank you, Shakima, for having me on your Say What podcast. I am a little nervous. I don't know how this conversation gonna go. I see she got her little notes and notepads, so let's do this. Let's enjoy the ride and see what happens. And like you said, let's shake hands now. Cause we might not shake hands afterwards.
We're gonna have fun. No, this podcast. This is a safe haven, right? We can come here. Like I said, we're gonna have adult conversations. We're not gonna always agree, but at the end of the day, we're gonna be real, right? Real and uncut. The definition of submission is the act of accepting or yielding to a superior force or the will of authority of another person. That's the definition. I'm going to read it again. The act of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will of authority of another person. I've been in several conversations, been a part of several debates. For some reason, men feel that women have a hard time submitting, right? I've also been in conversations with women, been a part of debates with women, and they do have a problem submitting. And it's not because we just want to be, how do I say this? It's not because we just don't want to submit, but submitting to me is just trusting. Like, I'm trusting you with my life. Like, I'm trusting you with my livelihood. I'm trusting you to lead me, right? But I want to know where you're leading me to. If I don't feel comfortable where you're leading me, if I don't have that trust in the way you're leading, then I'm not going to submit. But also at the same time, it's having open communication, right? You can't just say, go there. Okay, why am I going there? Or if I ask you, why am I going there? That shouldn't be a problem. Or if I say, well, why we got to go left? Why we can't go right? Because maybe going right is a better way than going left. But because I question you, and I'm not just saying, I'm just using it in terms, not saying, whatever. But if I ask you, well, why do we go this way? Why can't we go this way? Does it mean that I'm not being submissive? Like, am I just supposed to let you say go left and I see a dead end that way? So let's touch on that. Because when there's no submission, something happened with trust. And then to take it a step further, not only trust, but it could be a lack of respect as well. So things have to happen and transpire for a woman to just say, I'm not submitting to him. I don't think any woman would just wake up in the morning and say, I'm not submitting to my husband. Something had to happen for that attitude to develop and transpire. And that's just how I feel about it. As a woman, as a wife. So how do you, okay, like I said, my definition of in layman's terms is submission, it's respect. So that's coming from a woman's perspective and a wife's, perspective. So you as a man, and a husband, what is your definition of submission in layman's terms?
My definition in layman's term.
Yes.
I mean, I think you clarified it. Like you say, trust, communication. So I can roll with that. Absolutely.
And the respect.
And the respect.
Mm-hmm. I think
somewhat true.
If you don't respect someone, you're not going to submit to them. You're not going to be submissive if you don't respect them.
I mean, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
In some instances, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think a situation could dictate you to submit. I mean, people don't have respect for individuals on their job; they still submit. So I mean, that's a situation to submit. But I mean, I can see the respect aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a somewhat true. I think, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But back to your definition. Where you get that definition from?
Webster.
Webster. Okay.
I mean, let's discuss it. What is your definition of submission?
Like I said before, I think you did a pretty good job with the definition.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say it would be more in a marriage, more willing to and more yielding than this, what it says, superior force,
mm-hmm.
or the will or authority of another person. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, what?
Like I said before, I agree with that definition to a certain aspect. I don't necessarily agree with it biblically though, but okay.
Okay, speak on it.
Well, all I'm saying is that when you submit, you should submit in a way that will show your husband that you are on the same page, that you quote unquote have his back, that you are willing to say, have a discussion, and then you say, at the end of the day, that decision, you make the best decision for the family. Mm-hmm. I give my opinion, I gave my thought, I gave my idea, I expressed my idea, I expressed my thought, I expressed my concern. So therefore, make a decision.
So you're saying the husband and wife communicate openly about the decision first?
Of course, you got to communicate about it. Now, there may be some instances where you got to make a decision split second, and you just go ahead and make the decision.
The husband or the wife?
That's probably where it can become a little touchy.
Mhm.
Sometimes you may have to make a split-second decision.
Mhm.
But just communicate it. Just communicate the decision that you make. Because a lot of times, a lot of decisions are being made and there is no communication. So, but when you talk about the act of submitting, that's just the definition. How do you really feel? I guess more is the question. How do you really feel?
About submission?
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I
Say
don't.
what?
I'm good with.
Say what? Say what? Say what?
I am absolutely, totally good with submitting. I am. I'm gonna ask questions.
There's no problem with the question. Also, sometimes you ask a question. How do you ask the question?
Like if you say, "I think we're gonna turn left," if I think that's not the best way to turn, like, why are you turning left?
Because we're gonna turn left.
Okay, why?
That's what the GPS say.
Understand that, but not using. We're just talking. Like I'm just using that for an example.
Left. Turn left.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
We're
like,
gonna turn left.
yeah, like you're leading us somewhere. You be like, well, we're gonna turn down.
We're gonna go this way.
Yeah, and I'm like, why?
Because that's the best way to go.
Why you think that's the best? What makes you think that's the best way to go?
See, it's a question after question, right?
I'm just saying. I want to know.
Okay, so you don't want to go left. We get that. Which direction you want to go?
I mean, maybe I know something about
then
going left. Yes, I'd be like, but I want to know why you want to go left.
Because that's the direction we gotta go.
Okay, why we gotta go that way?
I mean,
and what's the destination?
Wait a minute, this is way vague.
It's not way vague. I'm just saying, like, if you're leading and as the husband, as the man of the house, you are the leader. You're the head. I'm saying if you're taking us somewhere, show the vision. And the vision that you show needs to be something that's in the best interest of the family and not just one single person. It should be in the best interest of the family. So I want to know, okay, how does this not just, I'm not saying me, but I'm just speaking for women. How does this play into, how is this going to affect the family?
I get that. I understand what you're saying.
So if that's clear, and
sometimes it may not. Okay, because you said, okay, your example you just gave, turn left. We're gonna turn left. And you saying why we got to go left?
Yeah, why are we going left?
Okay, well, I'm driving, right? I see north is blocked. I see going right is blocked, and we definitely ain't going backwards, so we're going left.
And I don't have a problem with that. Okay. Just there we go right there. Communication, just clear communication. But I've seen in instances where if you want to go left and I ask you, why do we have to go left? Because I'm going left. Like, no, tell me why we going left. But I don't think it would be a problem if the communication was that open and up front.
I just explained to you why we going left.
I know, but I'm just saying in general, I'm not just saying us. I'm just saying if the communication was that clear, I don't think it would be a problem of being submissive.
But it's not. This is a very difficult topic. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But I can say a lot of times, we're probably gonna have to talk about this topic several times, but a lot of women, let me just say it like this. We don't want to be the boss.
You don't?
We don't want to be the boss.
Then,
no, let me finish. No
Please.
Woman wakes up in the morning and say, I want to be the boss. Most of the time, we get it by default. We all want to be well-kept women.
Okay.
Like sitting up in the hills in the Hamptons somewhere. We don't want to be the boss. It's not easy to be the boss.
Sometimes that's not reality, but I'm listening.
But we get it by default, and now we're forced to have to be this way. But this, like you said, this thing could really, really go deep. Like let's just say you come from a single mom household, right?
Right.
And you weren't raised with your mom interacting with your father or, her husband or, male figure, and you see your mom doing things, making it happen. That's going to be a cycle. So it's going to be hard for you to submit because you didn't grow up that way. That's not what you're accustomed to. So you got to train your mind. Look, I got a husband now. I gotta work on me. He's the boss. I have to let him lead. That's his role. Another thing is knowing your role.
That's why I say it's a difficult topic, it's a difficult conversation. However, that's why you got to surround yourself around like-minded people, like-minded individuals, so you can grow and develop into that individual. It's not easy.
It's not.
It's definitely not easy. So you're right. There are some situations where a lot of women are in control. They make decisions. They, quote unquote, they're the head of the house. They're single moms. They go to their job. They're supervisors. They're managers. I get it. They're in positions where they have to make tough decisions. They have to make leadership type decisions. As they make these leadership type decisions, then lo and behold, they get married and they have to come home, and then they hear the word submit. And they hear the word submit, and they were like, "Oh boy, I'm not submitting to you." For one, I make harder decisions. You at work, a job, whatever the case may be.
I make more money.
Blah 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 blah. And so, therefore, that term, you get stuck on the term of submission, and you get stuck on the term of, I really got to yield to this man. Well, truthfully, yes. Yes. I mean, of course, people ain't gonna like that, but yes. Do people want to hear that? No, but yes. But you don't get married to do what you want to do, man. I'm telling you, the act of submission really is, you know what? It's not about me. It's not about me, and it's not about self. This thing is a self-growth. You have to learn how to grow, and you have to grow mentally. You have to grow spiritually, and then you have to grow together. And if any of those things are out of alignment, you're gonna have an issue. You're gonna have a problem. So when you're talking about submission, yeah, should you submit to your husband? Yes. Why? Because you married him. Let me finish. You married a man, right? You married. If you don't want to submit to him, then don't marry him. So now, does that mean that this man does not have responsibility, does not have duty? Does this mean that this man must not submit? He has to submit too. When you get married, man, you submit. Both of y'all should submit to the will of God. If that's my belief. And if both of y'all are not, then it's going to be issues. It's going to be problems. Nobody's saying that submission means that you got to mop the floor. You got to be like Cinderella. I'm not saying you got to be like Cinderella. I'm not saying you got to, sweep, mop, get the chitter stains out the corner. I ain't saying you got to do all that. All I'm saying is communicate, talk, and then, like you say most women have this thing by default. A lot of times, it's not by default. It's just because that's the way the situation happened. And the situation happened that way, and therefore they are placed in these positions.
Right.
And since they're placed in these positions, now they have an issue or they have a hard time, quote unquote, submitting. And therein lies the problem. Is it a problem? I mean, in America today, it may be. Why? They make more money. And like I say, you a supervisor, you on the job, you make these tough decisions, and then now you got to come home and you be like, I don't think that's the best thing. Because you base it on what? On what you do on a daily basis. It's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy by any means, by any stretch of the imagination.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy if the communication is clear, open and clear, if the respect is there and the trust is there. It's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple.
Okay.
If you have, those are the three most important things.
Communication,
trust, and respect.
Okay.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Hands down. If that is there, it's simple.
It's simple. Okay.
It is. It's just that simple. Tell me where we going.
I'm telling you where we go. Sometimes you don't have to know right then or there.
Why not?
Maybe it's not time for you to know right now.
If you're making a decision about me, no, I need to know.
Sometimes you may not have to know. It's always what's in the best interest of the family. That should always be the thought process of the man. And his goal is, protection. It's a cover. And sometimes it may not be in the best decision to speak it right then. I'm not saying you don't have to know, but I'm not saying the situation for everything. It's not a broad brush we can paint over. But sometimes, you know what? Can you just trust me on this? Because you say it's about trust too, right? Can you just trust me on this? We'll come back and we'll fix it later. Some women can't deal with that. Some people can't deal with that. Some men can't deal with that.
But why can't you share it though?
I'm not saying can't be shared. It may not be the right time to share it.
So you would get in a car with somebody, and
we ain't driving no car.
I know, but I'm just saying. So that's like saying, we'll fix it later. Just go with me. Trust me. So you would get in a car with somebody. You'd be like, man, where we going? Be like, man, just trust me. Just go for the ride. No, I need to know where I'm going.
We ain't driving.
I know, but that's
your example, right?
Yeah, like you're not gonna get in a car with somebody and be like, if they tell you I don't know where we, just go for the ride. No, bro, I need to know where we going.
Sometimes if my boy call me up, like, hey, I need you to ride with me somewhere. So where we going? Trust me, man. It's for our best interest. I may jump in the car and roll. I'm sure people don't do that before.
No, I ain't.
You may not do it now.
Cause you don't. I need to know where we going.
Well,
if you jump in an Uber,
we ain't in no Uber.
I'm just saying, you jump in the Uber and the guy don't know where he going. Dang. You gonna ride with him?
If my boy come and say, Quincy, I need you to go with me somewhere. I'm like, where we going? He say, look, it ain't. If he say, look, can you trust me? It ain't nothing gonna get us in, no trouble. We ain't got. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's roll. I ain't gonna do it for everybody.
Okay, well, let's do this. Tell me. I want to know.
Man, you got somebody you can trust like that. You do.
I'm not okay. If you say so.
You ain't got nobody you can trust like that.
I want to know where we going. I got kids. You mess around and have me in jail somewhere. I don't know what you doing. You done had a love
put you in jail.
relationship with somebody. I ain't fooling up with that.
So see that I think that's where the trust aspect got to come in there.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. Okay,
trust but verify.
See that's a corporate trust but verify. See that
that's it. Trust but verify. Yeah. I trust you, yeah, but I'm still gonna verify. I need to know where we going.
I feel you on that. I'm just saying, you may not have nobody that you can trust like that. If my boy come and say, "Can you roll me right quick?" and say, "Where we going?" He's like, "I can't tell you that right now, but just trust me on this one." I got one or two boys that I can do that with. That's me. That's how I trust them that way. I can't speak for that for everybody. Everybody may not have that. I tell you what, somebody call me, and I be like, if I call my boys, I be like, "Can you roll me somewhere?" And they be like, "Yeah, where we going?" Trust me. They know Quincy Ford ain't trying to go to jail. They know Quincy Ford ain't gonna try to lead them to put them in a predicament. Now I can't say that for everybody. I could just say that. So
you saying the wife should just trust the husband?
I'm not saying that in every situation. I'm just using the example that you gave. That's all I'm doing. I'm using the example that you gave. I got a couple partners that I can do that with. And I'm sure other people got a couple of partners they can do that with.
But that's only 2 out of 3. You got to have all 3. You got to have open communication. You got to have trust, and you got to have respect. So I respect you. I trust you. But the open communication is you telling me where we going. Share the vision with me. Tell me what you got in mind. Tell me where you want us to be in 10 years.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Because maybe your 10 years, what you see for us is not what I see.
Then so what you see and what I see in 10 years with this vision that you were talking about. So apparently one of us are out of alignment. So your vision got you seeing what?
No, I'm just saying maybe your vision is not big enough. we're just talking in general.
We're just talking in
Yeah,
general.
we're just talking in general.
Okay.
So with the submissive,
So you got a bigger vision. Your vision is bigger.
just give it an example.
Okay.
So would the submissive thing be for me to not say nothing?
You supposed to say something. I don't know why people. I don't know. You keep saying not say anything. Say something. Submission don't mean you don't have a voice. Submission just simply means that you are yielding to the will. It don't mean you don't have a voice. Please, please exercise your voice. Please say what's on your mind. Nobody's saying you cannot say these things. Don't take the definition and be so consumed with the word itself. I mean, people say when I submit, you see it as being negative. You see it as being all these things that are not positive. I'm telling you, when you submit, it shows strength. I mean, it takes a lot to submit to somebody. Nobody's negating that. It takes a lot to submit.
I don't.
You saying it like it's so easy.
I think it takes a lot to submit when you don't have those three things. When you don't have trust, when you don't respect, and when you don't have open communication. But if you have those three, it's I'm serious. It's like water flowing.
I get you. The
but
trust,
when you,
respect, and
open communication. But,
I get that.
But when you don't have those, is it going to be hard? Yes, because you don't know where you're going. Nobody's communicating, and I have no respect for you. But I'm telling you, I'm speaking from a woman. When you have those three things, it's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple because I respect you.
Okay.
I trust you.
Then we done. This conversation over. Don't need a episode number 2.
And the communication, we're communicating with each other. You're telling me your vision, right?
Done.
It's simple.
Absolutely.
It's open communication, respect.
So that goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And trust. That's it. If you have those three things. So
if one of those out, then you know what? Submission is out the window, right?
I'm not saying it's out the window, but it's not simple.
When you're not simple.
Yeah, when how are you going to submit to somebody you don't respect? How are you going to submit to somebody when there is no communication? How are you going to submit to somebody you don't trust?
I hear you. I'm not negating that.
It's not hard. It's only hard when you don't have those three things.
There you go. Comedians.
There you go.
Yeah, so
ladies, it's simple. As long as you trust your husband, as long as you respect your husband, and as long as you guys have open communication, it's simple.
Wow. Then there you go. So those women who don't submit, then some of those is missing, right?
One of those are missing.
All right. Well, we solved that problem. Wasn't as bad as I thought.
We definitely solved that problem. Now, guess what? It is time for the Say What session. It is time for the Say What session. And this is when we take questions from our chameleons. And we have 4 we have 10, but I'm only going to do 4. And they are really, really good. And I cannot wait to share them with you. Question number 1. This is going to be good. Do you view submission as a weakness? And I know you already said that it shows strength because it takes a lot to submit. But, I argue that it doesn't, as long as you have the 3 most important factors. So I don't see being submissive as a weakness. I want to be submissive. I don't have a problem with being submissive. But those 3 things have to be there. Respect, open communication, and trust. I mean, it's sexy to me. I think it's sexy. You can submit to your husband and you got a man who's leading. To me, it's sexy. Like when you have, different businesses, you're a leader, you're a boss. You come home, and I know Jeannie Ma talked about this. Like, you come home, you don't want to be the boss at home. Like, you the boss all day. You want to come home and just be able to just like, like, whoo, like kick your shoes off like Patti LaBelle and Fantasia and just relax. But as I said before, like, most of the time we get it by default because somewhere one of those three key factors is lacking, and we feel like if we want to get things done, we got to step in. But I do not see submission as being weak. I see submission as being sexy. Like, it's sexy when you got a man that's gonna lead. And you allow him to lead. But again, open communication, respect, and trust. You want to comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Question number 2. Do you feel that because you cook, clean, and cater to your man, that makes you submissive?
You looking at me like that question directed towards me?
No, it's not directed to you. That was question number 2.
Yeah, but after you read it, you look directly at me.
Do you feel that because you cook, clean, and cater to your man, that makes you submissive?
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think that makes you submissive. I think
you just cook, clean, and cater.
You just cook, clean, and cater. And as women, we're nurturers anyway. So that's just something that we do. But I know some women would be offended. Like, if, thinking that that's all they're supposed to do is cook, clean, and cater to their man. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think cooking and cleaning and catering to your man is an act of submission. That's an act of, we cook, we clean.
All women don't cook.
No, all women don't cook, but I don't cook a lot. But
a lot of men do cooking and cleaning and all those things that question stated. So I'm just saying, no, that's not an act of submission. It's just chores.
Chores? Chores are for kids.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, comedians. I mean, maybe I said the wrong thing. What, chores?
Yeah, we don't have chores as adults. Did you say chores?
Yeah, can I get allowance?
So again, no, I don't consider those things to be acts of submission. I don't. I just think you're just doing what you need to do to keep the household running. I don't see that as being submissive.
No, I don't see that being submissive either.
I just think that's what you got to do to keep the house going.
Yeah, them chores.
Those are not chores.
I don't mean chores. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's what you got to do. You got to cook. You got to clean.
Question number 3. Let's see if this is a question or... Okay, it says, in my opinion, submission is a popular topic. You hear about it all the time. People love to discuss and quote what the Bible says about submission when they don't even actually read or study the Bible. You're requiring something from your spouse you don't even fully understand. Why is that?
Read that question again.
It says, in my opinion, submission is a popular topic.
In my opinion, there you go.
You hear about it all the time. People love to discuss and quote what the Bible says about submission when they don't even actually read or study the Bible. You're requiring something from your spouse and don't even fully understand. Why is that? I think what she's trying to say is that people quote the Bible scripture, not people, men. The Bible says in Ephesians 5th chapter, 22nd through the 24th verse, it reads, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. So I guess she's saying, guys, that you're supposed to submit. The Bible says you're supposed to submit, but they don't even read the Bible, don't even know the Bible, don't even go to church. But they use that, I guess, to justify, because they want their wives to listen to them or do what they say. And then saying too, okay, so what are you submitting?
Well, again, I mean, what she's saying, she had a valid point. However, men, when you get married, the man has to submit to the will of God.
Mm-hmm.
So both of y'all have to submit.
Right.
It's not just wives submit; husband have to submit too. So you submitting to your family, you submitting to the covering, the protection of the family. It's not just wives are submitting. I mean, you can't just. I mean, you're not the deity. You're not the God. So you have to submit to a superior authority, just like the definition said. So it's both of y'all submitting, and then you somehow in that process you have to learn how to submit to one another. So if you're not doing that, then that's just problematic.
But it's hard to submit if what?
According to the book of Shakima, or trust,
open communication and respect.
And respect.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to see that though.
Absolutely. It's not written down anywhere. Okay. This is the last one. Uh-oh. This one's long. It says the act of submission to the right man. Would I submit to my husband? Absolutely. I would most certainly submit to my husband if he is being led by God. However, if my husband is in the wilderness or have no direction on leading, it'll be difficult for me to submit. So there's the trust. She doesn't trust her husband to get there. Right?
I'm listening. It's part 2 of that question.
I believe the act of submitting is far easier for a wife than the husband being the head and loving his wife as Christ loved the church. That's a monumental task for a man. For me, submitting is easy if you're being led by a man who is aligned with Christ. Do I submit? Not always. Why? Reasons explained above. I am a work in progress. So a lot of things were said in this.
A lot of things were said. She said something that was, I think, very powerful. She said husband in the wilderness. And again, with that being said, when you form this union,
mm-hmm.
The submission of the wife and the submission of the husband, it has to, has to coincide. But if she's saying the husband in the wilderness, then that leads into some other things. Spiritually, start praying for your husband. Pray for him to be that leader. Pray for him to come out the wilderness. With the submission aspect, again, that's why I say this topic can be very, very.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have talk. Okay, yeah. Okay. So let me stop right there. Let me ask you this.
See, just knock me out the question.
No, I'm not. But
let me interrupt you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so she said he's in the wilderness. So while he's in the wilderness, do she still submit? So
again, like I said, it's a difficult topic.
Mm-hmm.
The submission aspect is that's her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So she don't want to submit
mm-hmm.
because he's in, quote unquote, the wilderness,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. And
so since he's in the wilderness, then her submission is that she needs to go into prayer and she needs to pray. And again, like I said, man, it's not easy. It really isn't. But again, go into prayer and pray that her husband is delivered
mm-hmm.
from whatever else he's been delivered from. Pray for at least. But then again, it's a lot of different other things that comes along with this. I'm no counselor. I mean,
right,
it's
right. Look, let us make a disclosure. We are not counselors. We are simply talking about real life
Yeah.
experiences, sharing our experiences, our opinions, right? We are not, like you said, my husband said, we are not counselors, we are not psychologists. Like, we can go see a psychologist and they need to go see their psychologist when they finish with us. So we're just here sharing our experiences, letting you guys tap into, you know, our day-to-day lives.
We should put that disclaimer out there first.
What?
That we should have put that disclaimer out
Well,
there
we
first.
should have said that first. Because we don't want nobody calling us looking for us because saying we destroyed your marriage and your wife don't want to submit because Shakima said this or Shakima said that. That is not what we doing here.
Well, all I'm saying is that, yeah, she did say a lot. And again, you know, a lot of times when we say I do, we say I do in the beginning, and life happens, things change, situations change, people change, and it calls, like you said, the submission aspect to not be as easy to do. So all I'm saying is that in her situation, she did say a lot, and she, you know, sometimes she submits, sometimes she don't. However, that's still her husband. So we have to look at the facts here. What's the facts? Are they still married? Yes. Is that still her husband? Yes. The submission, she may have issues with it at times. I don't see a, you know. All I'm saying is that pray for that man. Pray for that man that he will be enlightened, that his heart will be touched, and that his eyes will be open and he be awakened, and that he see the magnitude of what he's doing to his family and to his wife, and that that situation will be, you know, reunited, and he'll take his rightful place. So, like I say, man, it's a lot said in there. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of times men, yeah, they do, or we do, you know, look at the word submission. So, how are you going to submit? However, you know, we just have to look at it in totality and understand that we have an obligation to our wives submitting, and our obligation is everything that she's kind of related to.
Like a situational submission. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. But, you know, again, when you're talking about submitting, you got to do it willingly and voluntarily. This is not a submission when you're talking about, you know, owner and peasant and all these kind of things. It's, you know, not like, you know, master and slave. It's just you doing this willingly, you doing this voluntarily. And again, I think that is some of the issue, because you have to willingly want to submit to your husband. But even what you were saying before, you know, with the trust, open communication, everybody still are not going to do that, because it's just the term itself. When certain terms you hear, you just kind of being programmed to like, that's something I'll never do. And that's just something that you just have to grow into. You have to grow. First of all, you have to grow individually. And once you grow individually, then you can grow into these. And I know we say roles, but you grow into these roles of the marriage. You grow into the roles of being responsible adults. Grow into the role of being a good parent, good husband, good wife. And when all those things happen and you come together, it's a beautiful conglomerate. Just manifests into something very beautiful. But, you know, if, like I said before, some of these things out of alignment, you're going to have problems.
If the respect is not there, no communication and no trust.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I think what you say is that's on point. What you're saying is on point. Yeah. So it goes both ways. I mean, absolutely. What you're saying, absolutely.
All right, let me ask you this. We two things, and then we gonna go. So let's just say when you go shopping and you sneak stuff in the house because your husband said you don't need to buy nothing else, is that
That's just defiant. You just being defiant. That's all what that is.
That's not defiant. How
Look,
is that
look.
being defiant? If you want to purchase something, if you want to buy something.
Man, that's a conversation
I
for
know
another day
that's what I'm saying.
because
It's gonna lead up to something.
it's so
Okay,
much.
so okay, one more. This is the last one,
Yeah,
and we're gonna
just
get out
stick,
because
just
it's gonna
stick,
be a part 2.
just stick to submission. Yeah.
If you don't wanna, like, if you don't feel like having sex with your husband,
Then he need to get a new wife. I'm just teasing.
say what?
Say what? No, I'm just teasing.
If you don't want to have sex with your husband and you do it because he wants it, is that considered submission?
Is that? I mean, look, that okay? You just opened up a can of worms there because that particular statement could be taken so many different ways. Hey, I don't know if you want me to answer it.
I want you to answer it.
Okay, number one, I want you to ask the question one more time.
So if your husband wants to be intimate, have sex, make love, and you don't feel like it, but you do it anyway, is that an act of submission?
Okay. Yes and no. Okay. I know that sounds contradictory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? If you do it anyway, and your husband he may really know that you ain't into it, so he just happy to get it out, and he be like, "Woo, I'm good. I can go to sleep." Whatever the case may be.
Uh-huh.
So you submitted, and hey, it was just you. Okay, you just want to get him off your back, or what the case may be, and he want to get it out. Bam, situation resolved. So you submitted to the will. Bam, done over. However, was it willingly? No. That's why I say, man, this is a tough topic. Submission is voluntarily and willingly. You just did it out of like a chore. You just did it like oh, and then let me get this clown out the way, whatever. So that's why I say is, hey, yes and no.
All right. So the next time you hear from my husband on the Say What podcast with me, your host, Shakima D. Ford, we are going to be talking about, should sex be a chore?
Should sex be a choice? See, you would just pull him into this thing like,
because we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So stay tuned. I don't know which episode is going to be, but we are definitely going to come back and talk about that because he said that a couple times. Sex should not be a chore. But sometimes you just don't feel like it.
I said that.
Yeah, when I said, what if we just, if I just give it to you and I don't feel like, he was like, well, what, sex should not be a chore.
I don't know saying that.
We can play it back. But
play it back. No, you said cooking and cleaning and catering. That's what you meant?
No.
Oh.
When I said, what if, we don't feel like it and we just do it, is that an act of submission? You're like, why you got to make it seem like it's a chore? Or, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear you.
To my chameleons, we had a good time. We had a really, really good time. I can agree with my husband. This topic, oh my goodness, is...
I tell you what, I just say, let's revisit this because...
We're going to have to revisit this.
Because
guess what? We did not talk about support. We had to talk about support. I want to talk about support.
I'm on this podcast. That's support.
Not you. I'm just saying in general, we got to talk about support. We have to talk about support. Because I see this a lot. When women don't, let's just say they have a dream, they have a vision, and they don't execute it because their spouse don't support. I hear that a lot.
I'm not negating that. Yeah. You know what? I like to see. I should have just put some of my movie quotes in here, but I ain't really want to get into all that. Because I like my movie quotes. But one episode of Good Times I like when Florida wanted to go back to school, and Jenkins was against it, and he went down to the little bar and talking to his friends, and you know what he did? He came back upstairs because Florida was like, I'm not going to go to school because my husband is tearing up my family. And the episode got, I saw it as a kid, but now I got emotional. So James came back upstairs in the door, and he had a backpack, right? And he gave it to Florida. Good times. And he said that this is for you to go to school. And then I think Michael in the episode, he said, there's another backpack in here. And you know what he said?
What?
He said, that one's for me. We going together. So that's what we're missing in our community. That's what we're missing. So you're right. I agree with you. There's a lot of people that don't, support their spouse, especially their wives, whenever they have dreams or ideals. And I think that is somewhat that's lacking in a lot of marriages. But again, that's somewhat of a traditional mindset that we've kind of got to get away from. And even in this, we're talking about submission. A lot of things that we do traditionally that we have to get away from. Again, you got people traditionally think that we talking about submission, just like when I said, cooking, cleaning, they think that's traditional, but you got a lot of men who are cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, which is considered, or typically what's considered to be, the duties of the wife. And then the man, he goes out and, bring home the bacon, etc. But that was a traditional living style. We don't live in a traditional life anymore. This is not traditional. I mean, it normally takes 2 incomes to support a home, support a household. So the wife got to work, the husband got to work. So everybody have to do their due diligence to actually sustain the house. So when you're talking about submission, like I said, it goes both ways. It's a lot deeper than what we're really discussing, what we really get into. So, again, we can come back and revisit this and talk about this in more detail. As I'm sitting here, I'm getting a little more comfortable. So I can really engage next time like I really want to. I done got the butterflies out now. So next time I'll probably raise some eyebrows and some people will probably bat their eyes when they hear my responses. So we'll revisit this and talk about this a little more.
Absolutely. And to my ladies, we are going to be talking, just me to you. We're going to be talking about support and how important it is. I have a lot of things that I want to say about that, because as a business owner of different businesses, I hear that a lot, that women don't want to execute their vision and implement their goals because they don't have the support from their spouse. I want to talk on that. We're definitely going to go as deep as we can on that topic. But as I said before, the next time you hear my husband, we're going to be talking about sex and marriage, and why should sex be looked at as a chore. You're going to hear his perspective, and you're going to hear my perspective. We're going to talk about how much sex you should have. We're gonna get down and dirty. Because these are the type of conversations we want to have. Like I said, this is your safe haven for you to come, for us to have adult conversations, for us to be raw and uncut. Because you never know what people are going through. So I don't take it lightly that we're here. So again, I am your host, Shakima D. Ford. Thank you for tuning in to the Say What podcast. We will see you and hear from you on episode 3.